first. Come on. Who are you? There is something that is familiar about you, but I can't quite place it. No matter, I suppose. All people are welcome in Abessa, as long as they are prepared to forget their past. Even elves are allowed in here. I think elves would be perfect people if they weren't so emotionless. But then, that is why they are the only faction I have never belonged to.
What do you mean? You mean you want to become an elf?
That's a long story. If you're really interested in my tale, then I will tell you, of course.
I'd be happy to hear her story. Maybe there are lessons in it for us.
Tell me your story. How did you end up joining the clerics?
Right, I'll give you the full version. Well, the short version of the full version.
Just get on with it.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. So, I grew up in Goliad in Edan. My father and mother were both born berserkers, and so that meant I was too. Back then, Bajar ruled over Goliad. As a child, I had no interest in the laws, of course. But when I was about 12 years old, one of the warlords came to our home. He took my parents, and I was left on my own to survive in the city. I remember him. I remember my parents leaving. And I remember me screaming. But everything else is gone. It's just a blur.
What happened to your parents?
Well, what else? They were exiled. Nobody ever told me why they were exiled. I still don't know what they did, even today. I hate the Berserker laws. Nothing against the Berserkers. They're just people. It's the laws I hate. I think what the Berserkers want to do with Magalan is right. But I can never forgive them for what they did to my parents. Why was I punished for whatever my parents did? Why wasn't I told what had happened? I swore never to return, and I haven't set foot in Edan again.
Where did you go?
Wherever I needed to survive. That meant running from reavers and wild animals. It didn't take long for some reavers to take me captive. And then, I don't want to talk about that. I was lucky, though. After several years, the reavers were attacked by some of the Duke's outlaws, and they took me back to Tavar. I learned how to fight, how to live off scrap. Life wasn't much different from Edan, but there wasn't the same raptor shit. The laws. You could be who you were, and no one judged you.
And why didn't you remain with the outlaws?
Because the reavers who'd taken me captive came to the fort and wanted to speak to the Duke. I think they wanted to take me back. I fled when they saw me. I didn't want to be taken back, or for them to kill me to hide their crime. When I left the fort, I ran into a cleric patrol. They convinced me to go to the Hort with them. Not that I really needed that much convincing. All those hours taking scrap apart and putting it back together in Tavar really paid off there. The clerics recognized that I was good with technology. So, I've been working on mechs and AI systems since then. Building things. Trusted. Part of a team. And it's easier being with mechs. They don't judge anyone. They treat everyone the same. Like this place. I know it's not perfect. But outlaws, berserkers, clerics, even elves are seen as people. At least that's the vision. Not always the way it happens. That's another reason to maintain these mechs. To protect what we have here. Well, I hope you find your place in the world. It's good when you do.
I'm staying out of it.
What are you doing here in Abessa?
I take care of the mechs and drones here in the city, which means I coordinate and plan their maintenance and upgrades. When I'm lucky, I get to roll up my sleeves and do some of the actual maintenance, which I'm having to do quite a lot with all the technicians we're missing. Say, are you good with technology?
I know the basics.
Unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough, I'm afraid. We don't really have time to train people on the job. Not if they're not going to stay here for good. And you don't look the type for that. On the other hand, if you're looking for some part-time work, I could still use your help. I have 4 people I've been told I should look at for taking the technician's job, but I don't have time to gauge their abilities. Would that be something you could do for me? I'd pay you.
Yeah, I'll talk to your candidates.
Great. The 4 names I have are Daryl, Naira, Rorik, and Riley. Though I'm really not sure about Riley. There's something about him I don't trust. But speak to each of them, and let me know whether you think they might have the right skills and abilities for the job. Oh, and I'll need you to let me know about their loyalties. You know, can they work with clerics? Do they hate us? We'd be trusting them with the mechs and AI that defend the Dome City. So I don't want to employ anyone who might still be thinking about their faction, not our security.
About the candidates for technician,
Yes?
tell me about Naira.
Naira is an Alb separatist, so a bit of a long shot for loyalty. But she should have the technical ability we need. She's somewhere in the west of the city with the other separatists, in the slums.
You want to employ a separatist as a technician?
We need someone, and I don't think your faction always says who you are. Albs are usually very good with technology, but you're right. I don't know if we can trust her.
Tell me about Daryl.
Daryl is an outlaw. He's applied to be a technician, but I don't know why. So I want to know his motives and what his technical experience is. I'm hoping you can get that information. If he's skilled and trustworthy, then employing him might show that we do trust outlaws here. But I don't know that much about him. I don't even know where to find him.
What do you know about Rorik?
Rorik is a berserker. I think I last saw him somewhere around Vito's pub. It might seem weird to consider a berserker, but I was one once. And I know Rorik used to work extracting Elix from machines in Goliath, so he knows about technology. And I think I could teach him everything else that he needs to know. And it would show that we were reaching out to the berserkers who have come to the Dome City. Their magic is very powerful, and they're strong warriors. We will need their help if the Albs attack us from Zakor. But it'll be important to find out if he's prepared to have anything to do with technology before we think of offering him the job.
They say that the pilgrim Thorold has answers, but who knows?
Why even waste time thinking about it?
There's nowhere near enough Felix out there for that. They say that, but
Hey, you're new here in the city, right?
Yes, I've just arrived.
I thought so. I saw you come through the gate, you see? Anyway, I want to ask you something, if that's all right. Have you been to Edan recently? To the Berserker's city of Goliath, to be exact. A good friend of mine is still there.
Who's your friend?
His name is Kral. He's a guard at the Mana Shrine. At least, he was when I left. He thought he still had a chance to save his brother, Grimar, from the Alb Converter. Do you know what happened to him?
No, I don't know, Kral.
No? Okay, well, thanks. And thanks anyways.
Tell me about your life in Edan.
Me? I was a worker at the pit. You know, I extracted Elix from old machines so it could be transmuted into mana. I always wanted to join the Hooded Crows and learn the art of magic, but it wasn't to be. My parents forbade me from trying. My clan told me to stop trying. Not that any of that stopped me. And that's what got me banished. I stole mana from the shrine to try and learn magic myself. And I got myself caught. They sentenced me to exile in the Valley of the Damned, but I escaped. I'd seen the Dome City when I was sent on patrol, so when I left Edan, this was the place I thought of. And here I am.
I would like to learn Berserker magic.
Well, it's pointless asking me. I didn't manage to learn anything useful before I was exiled. You would have to join the Berserkers. They won't teach their magic to outsiders. But I don't know if I can recommend that in all good conscience. I left, after all. You will have to decide who you want to join.
Vivian sent me.
Is it about the technician job for the clerics?
Yes.
I'm interested, but I'm not sure that this is the job for me. I mean, I've not had much to do with technology. I've tried to learn since I came to Abessa, but I'm still only just starting out.
So, now you've left Adan. What do you think about the clerics?
I'm grateful they let me in. They don't bother me, and I don't bother them. I'm not a berserker anymore. I live here.
What experience do you have with technology?
Well, back in Goliath, I used to take machines apart. There aren't many I've not seen from the inside. Strange, really. My job used to be to get rid of technology, but now all I want to do is put it back together. The clerics make some incredible things. I mean, just look at the dome. That's an amazing feat of engineering.
If you get orders you don't like, will you run away from here like you did from Adan?
I don't know. But the clerics don't ban some people from doing some things and not others. If I want to learn about technology, they'll let me. They're the same with everyone.
I've heard enough.
Okay. Right. I'll see you then.
What do you want from me? To drive me off? Or maybe even have me killed? You don't scare me. Your people are a plague upon this land. Although, there is something different about you. Do you usually spend time with people like us?
I was an Alp myself once.
Yes. You stopped taking ELEX. That is rare, which makes me question how you did it.
Vivian sent me about the technician job.
I am without question the best candidate they will find. Therefore, selecting me is the logical choice. But I need proof that the clerics are really willing to work with me. If I am to work for the clerics, then I would like to be paid. The free people seem to value shards above all things, and so payment would be proof that they take me seriously.
What are your qualifications for this job?
I served as the battlefield technician for my unit in Zakor. I have already discovered errors in the AI systems of the clerics' mechs, and I would be able to modify them. Even the dome isn't running as efficiently as it could. That is another thing I could improve.
Do you think you can work with the clerics?
I think it would be better if this city was led by an alb or a machine. But I understand that it isn't up to me to determine this. So yes, I could imagine working with them in the existing circumstances, despite their inefficiencies.
I'm not paying you.
Good. Then you have made your decision and mine. I will not work for the clerics.
Teach me something.
Of course.
Pay me those shards you owe me, because I'm pissed at how long you're taking.
I wonder if he was serious about that.
Ah, the gift and treasures of travel, for it brings new encounters. So what are you? Merchant? Bounty hunter? Or a nobody, like most people out there?
I was an Alb once.
And you go around admitting that? And you're still alive? How'd you manage that?
Let's just say it's complicated.
Yeah, I can imagine. You anything to do with these separatists? Why are there so many of you guys coming to the Dome City?
You'll have to ask the separatists. I'm not one of them.
and I guess that's what I have to do. I was hoping you would have an answer, but as far as I see it, the way we are now, we should get along wonderfully with each other. I mean, otherwise, you wouldn't have even spoken to me, right?
How do people live here?
Here, smoke one with me, before you start bombarding me with questions, yeah? I have the best stuff here.
What do you have to offer?
Troll dung, rat scab, it's all first-class stuff. Snort it, smoke it, either way, you'll never forget the experience.
Forget it.
Well, that's your choice. From time to time, you need to open a door in your head and look inside, right? But if you won't, then all the more for me. That done, let's get into the real business.
Business? With me?
You see someone else here? Real business. A proper opportunity. You see, the clerics have had this city under their control for years. And the Duke thinks they're planning to take control everywhere, sooner or later. And he thinks the Dome City could be the starting point for their military campaign. So, my job is to find out if he's right, if there is something brewing that could be dangerous for us in Tavar.
What information have you gathered about the clerics?
Pretty much nothing so far. They've not been very loose-lipped around me. I must sorta stand out.
So, you want me to be your spy?
I want you to find out information. Now, I can see in your eyes that you haven't fallen for the cleric's tricks. You aren't simple enough to believe every piece of troll shit you're fed.
What do you expect from me?
All that you have to do is get some answers out of somebody, and I've even got the guy lined up ready for you. His name is Lutz. He's one of Alois's technicians. As far as I know, he's trying to re-establish communications with the other clerics in Ignadon, while Alois will tell you the clerics here are neutral, separate from the ones in the Horde. Go and grill Lutz. Find out if there'll be an offensive soon. Do that, then come back to me as soon as you have any useful information.
I'm not sure we should get involved. This isn't our fight.
I won't work against the clerics.
Against is such an ugly word. Let's just say you're working for filling your pockets with shards. That sounds much better.
Forget it.
I can't. I'm under orders. But you spend a bit more time here. Take a good look at the clerics. I think you'll soon see you don't want to help them out.
Why do you think that these technicians will know about the cleric's plans?
Because he's the guy that maintains all the communications equipment. He must have heard something from the comms. And he's more likely to talk than anyone further up the chain. I want to know what he's heard. I need to know what he knows.
Vivian sent me to talk to you about the technician's job.
Yeah, good. And I'd like to apply for the job. And I'm willing to pay any price to get it. While I'm certain there must be people better qualified than me, there isn't anybody who will pay you as much as I will.
How good are you with technology?
Absolutely crap. I don't know one end of a screwdriver from, well, a hammer, to be honest. But I'm a fast learner. And if I have someone I can ask, then the rest won't be a problem. And did I mention the whole financially rewarding aspect of selecting me as the candidate?
What do you think about the clerics?
What's this got to do with the job? This job is about technical reliability. And I can assure you that I am technically reliable. And as for my interests, you can count on me being a pacifist. I want to do anything to avoid a war. And the better access I have to new information, the better equipped I'll be to ensure a war doesn't suddenly break out without anybody seeing it coming.
I've heard enough.
Okay. And remember to put in a good word for me with Vivian. I'll make it worth your while.
It is not efficient for us to talk.
He'll con.
You've got to sit down and ask, what am I doing?
About the candidates for technician.
Yes?
Naira doesn't want the job.
Why not?
She wanted to be paid in advance.
Then I agree with you. I want someone dedicated to the task, not to shards. That on top of the risk of letting an alb into our technology? You're right. Let's forget about her.
You should give the berserker Rorik the technician's job.
Then you think he has the experience and that he will dedicate himself to the Dome City?
Rorik will be trustworthy, but he does have something against authority.
Loyalty is the most important thing. Out of all the clerics here, I'm the one who can best understand a need to buck authority. Good, right, then I hope we have our technician. Thank you for helping me with the selection. Here, your payment as promised. I'd better go and take care of my new recruit right away. This should secure us going forward. At least I hope so.
That was great.
May Kalan guide your way.